Hello again and welcome to the program. I am Suren. I feel that some would like to consider prayer being the answer to their age-old questions. And I am completely free in religious ideals, other than love. I always have been a person who does not consider judging anyone for what they believe or pray to. To tell you the least, I have seen the benefits thereof within my own researches. I shall attempt to describe it, therefore, as follows. Prayer is a form of worship in which a person may offer devotion, thanks, confession, or supplication to a God, as one believes. Some people kneel while they pray, others sit, stand, or lie on the ground. Prayers differ according to the faith they practice. Roman Catholics may pray to saints or the Virgin Mary, as well as to God the Father. In Judaism, the belief system is very biblical and is for many millions of Jews living in all parts of the world. It is considered as the oldest religion of the Western world. And the first to teach monotheism, which is the belief in one singular God. It is founded according to those of the teachings of the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament and of the Talmud. Christianity and Islam are said to have developed afterwards, although they differ in many basic beliefs and practices, although they both accept the Jewish belief in one God and the ethical teachings of the Hebrew Bible. Now, Islam is the religion offered to Prophet Muhammad in the AD 600s. Muhammad was born in Mecca about 570, and it was believed that he had been sent to guide his people and to call them to worship Allah, peace be. He preached that there is only one law, and he, Muhammad, peace be, was God's messenger. Those who believe in the one God and accepting Muhammad as his messenger are called Muslims. Muslim is an Arabic word meaning one who submits to Allah. Islam in Arabic means, therefore, submission. Muslims generally feel these terms may give the incorrect impression that Muslims worship Muhammad. However, Islam, one of the world's largest religions, has millions of followers. The largest Muslim communities exist in the Middle East, as well as in the North Africa, Indonesia, Pakistan, of course, and Bangladesh. Islam is the principal religion in European Turkey. Muslims are still united by the faith of Islam, which forms a common bond of culture among them. The companions of Muhammad preserved his revolutions by memorizing them or writing them down during his lifetime. Muslim scholars believe Muhammad had approved these teachings. Later, the materials were combined to form the holy book of the Muslims. As you know, it is known in Arabic as Quran, or recitation in English. It is considered the words of God himself, spoken to Muhammad by an angel. A Muslim's chief duties are prayer, Islamic schooling, fasting, and pilgrimage. Muslims pray 5 times a day, at dawn, noon, in the afternoon, in the evening, and at the nightfall. A crier or muezzin announces the prayer time from the minaret. On Fridays, which for the Muslims resembles the Jewish Sabbath and Christian Sunday, they are expected to attend noon prayers at a mosque. Now let's come to our main subject for today. We all know what prayer is. It's almost like talking to the greatest authority, a deity or God, Elohim, or Allah. And we hear so much about what prayer can do. A Dr. George Washington Carver once said, "The trouble is that people don't know how to pray. Probably their prayers don't even reach the ceiling." A certain psychologist that I know of, on the other hand, once mentioned that the trouble was that most prayers were neither honest to God nor to one's own self. Another mentioned too many people pray with malice still in their hearts. Greed, resentment, envy, jealousy, and lust dissipate the power their prayers would have if they had really loved God and their neighbors in their hearts. So, what is a prayer, would you say? In a dictionary, it is defined as a request. An average person may feel that one does not pray unless one has something specific really being searched for. This obviously is a purpose of the prayer for them. But it cannot be the only purpose or the prime reason for prayer. Like Fyodor Dostoevsky wrote in his novel, which you're familiar with, I'm sure, The Brothers Karamazov, can be considered here. And the poet Samuel Coleridge said, "He prays best who loves best." There is indeed a necessity in the formula of love for all things and with the proper need and intention of prayer. Then, what is the real meaning of prayer? Properly. Not the commonly understood dictionary definition, I'm sure. That is to mean, one properly or probably finds that what really counts is not what one is, but what one may become. No intellectual can deny its value in any progressive plan for life. Right. Now, we all know what prayer does to the spirit of man by stimulating constructive excitation of the human emotions. It has a very stabilizing influence upon the human organism. It tends to harmonize the interaction of thalamic feelings, of impulses, and cortical reasoning attitudes. Prayer is also found to be a subduing the turbulence of the mental conflicts within the superconscious. Eventually, that state of harmony is reflected throughout the whole human organism. This is a peaceful and harmonious state of mind. It then comes under the positive influence of constructive thinking. It is said that the prayer derives an extraordinary power from a supernatural source. And in effect, this can be very true. But it is only true when the force of gravity or other such rules of nature derive their power from God, or the heavens, if you like. A Dr. Carroll, in an article in Reader's Digest of 1941, exclaimed that prayer is not only worship, it is also an invisible emanation of man's worshipping spirit, the most powerful form of energy. The effect of prayer on the human mind and body is, as can be seen, as that of excreted glands within the specific body. Now, some skeptics may ask, oldest form of a little thing like a prayer, after all, it isn't just a prayer, something you are told as a child to help you develop a worshipful respect for God. What good can prayer really do? That is a very good question. Probably the basic value of prayer is not yet being understood. Full prayer is not necessarily saying just meaningless words. It is more often just meditating quietly, or even probably thinking of God, the Creator. As Norman Vincent Peale puts it in his book, The Power of Positive Thinking. This is a book I would recommend to anybody and to everybody. Try thinking about God, that is, if you believe in Him. Make it your prayer until such time as you have developed the power to pray, unless you believe in no such authority. You may consider conducting a special meditation or meditations. However, one needs to develop the power and a positive attitude when praying or meditating. Otherwise, one will be completely unable to use the power of prayer or meditation. Try to pray or meditate when you are alone, when it is nice and quiet. Until you are able to utilize the power of meditation or prayer, try to choose a spot conducive to a receptive mood. You may find that once you have developed this great and wonderful power, you will always return to such a spot. For freedom from distracting thoughts is an essential area in good prayer or meditation. Same as in good meditation, I repeat myself. Remember that we need to free ourselves first from negative emotions, knowing that any negative emotion can be destructive. Your mind cannot function properly if it is filled with feelings of worry and fear, or self-pity, or hatred, or jealousy. The main rule of prayer or meditation is to relax. Let yourself go. As the once a pop song said, let yourself go, both physically and mentally. A Dr. E. Cliff puts it this way: let it go and let God in. Nice thought. It is a generally accepted fact that the laws of nature, the cosmic forces, if you will, govern inanimate life under the identity of God. Whatever you may desire to call him, Father, Elohim, or God, or Allah, there are innumerable names, those that likewise govern the human nature. It has been often said that the ideal state of being for the human being is one of peace and poise. That implies to complete union with the all-pervading spirit. The relationship between the psyche, that is the soul of the mind, and the psyche, that is the mind of the body, is proof of how negative thinking can produce an ill soul. Psychosomatic ill, as it has been pointed out, are the end products of some malfunctioning of the human nervous system. They are the states of which the mind of the body produced by negative thinking at either the conscious or superconscious level. The collective unconscious of the superconscious mind's level is a veritable jungle of conflicting memories. With psychic self bound to a negative state, the redeeming function of prayer becomes obvious. Elevating conscious thoughts to a higher power elevates the disturbances of negative emotional thinking. It sublimates emotional conflicts, which are irritating causes that underlining psychosomatic ills and human emotions. One of the most effective means of substituting positive conscious thoughts for the negative emotional thinking, which destroys us, usage of prayer or meditation. In other words, of psychological language which has been mentioned before. I will say, to lift one's heart in prayer or meditation. And that is almost exactly what happens. The heart, as the pump of life, beats more quickly and responds to the greatness of good. The heart is virtually lifted with prayer or in meditation. In truth, the effective prayer is to remove the burden of troublesome feeling attitudes from the superconscious mind. The resultant harmony brings only peace of mind. Peace of mind is the true happiness. That Mahatma Gandhi, the great prophet of India, recognized this practical aspect of prayer. It is obvious, as he said, can work miracles. But it should not be considered only in terms of miracles. And let us not think that it is concerned solely with spiritual salvation. Alas, this is a common error, perhaps the commonest, and if we fall into it, we have lost a good part of the meaning that prayer should have for us. it certainly brings us an awareness of God, or Creator, a supreme being, supreme authority. Yes, but also it nourishes the one who prays, both mentally and, in a sense, physically. You know, in our days of enlightenment, of communication, of scientific effect and education, there are many people who are not content with knowing simply that right thinking will be beneficial. These people have experienced the effect. Now they want to comprehend fully the cause of this phenomenon. The late Dr. Carroll spent much time at Lourdes in France, studying the miracles in healing that were claimed today. He saw a cancerous sore shrivel to scar before his own eyes. The only condition that Dr. Carroll believed to be indispensable to the occurrence of extraordinary, rapid acceleration of the process of bodily repair or miraculous healing is prayer. My late partner has mentioned of a story, a real-life event about her brother who had a huge cut on his arm, and he made some form of prayer whilst holding his other hand on that area. And when he removed the hand, that cut has completely healed in front of their eyes. This was not dreamt of, but real. For a number of people separately interviewed considered its reality. Long while ago, when I was passing through a shopping center, a lady who was employed as a cleaner complained that her wrist was troubled with carpal tunnel syndrome, and it was very painful. Seeing this, I suggested her to put her wrist on one of my hands, and I was holding my other hand on the top of it, and told her to trust and believe that it was going to be healed. Closing my eyes, I uttered a silent prayer, or if you like, a meditation, during which I saw her wrist becoming healthier again. As it was before, the problems have started. After a very short time, after 2 minutes or so, I asked her to remove her arm from my hand. She did. And she said she felt extremely hot, but comfortable, and asked me what I had done, for she had no longer felt the discomfort or the pain anymore. I could not explain a thing. However, that made me understand that there is an invisible power that the universe provides us with. She never had that problem back again for a very long time. As we can see, the two elements on the side to produce the phenomenon or miraculous healing. There is the deep subjective faith. That is the first one. Secondly, there is extreme acceleration of the process of organic repair. Those are a great deal of evidence throughout the ages that faith is the one essential prerequisite to the successful exercise of catalytic power of the superconscious. as it is recorded that Christ himself did not hesitate to acknowledge his ability to heal the sick. That would be impossible in the absence of that favorable mental attitude called faith. His reproof to his followers when they returned to him and announced any failure of their powers to heal the sick was that they had not elected faith. In this way, he offered the greatest proof that he himself regarded faith as an essential element of success, not only in the patient, but the therapist as well. We can classify faith as trust as well, if you like. What is this essential element called faith or trust, which appears to be the key to so many powers that the human can call upon? That's another good question. How can we best define this great hidden power of human nature? The dictionary definition is very cold. It is too brief, too unmeaning. Reliance, trusting, belief, founded on some authority. Scripture provides much better enlightenment in this regard as we seek. After Jesus healed the lunatic, the disciples inquired why they had failed in this task. And Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as the grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Again, when the disciples saw Jesus walking towards them on the sea, they were troubled and frightened, saying, it was a spirit. But he admonished them not to be afraid. He even reassured them by telling Peter to come to him. It is recorded in Matthew how Peter walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. Immediately, Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, although of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? Here we have the authority of Christ himself. That faith is a belief. Fear and doubt destroy positive feeling attitudes of faith, and fear and doubt are all about us. They must be overcome. That leads to increased fear, and fear leads to disbelief and complete stagnation. Having thoughts of fear, having thoughts of doubt sets up negative thoughts within you and breaks down the powers that the superconscious gives you, gives us all. You are well advised to work on your own religious ideals, if you so believe. If cultivation of a deep subjective faith, or iman, as in Islam, is desired, it is only in this way be assured that you can enjoy the many benefits of the healing power of faith and the ability it gives you to improve yourself in every way conceivable. It is not necessary, nor is it even advisable, to change your religious convictions or your affiliations when it comes to it. It's a personal choice. The church has become man's greatest invention for his own self-help for a while. It has been quite properly named the house of God, although God does not need a house to live in or use it as his office. If you are sincere, your desire to make use of this implement of religion to worship God, and you can employ or use the rituals or lectures in the Kingdom Hall provides. You will have no great difficulty in communicating with God and his infinite intelligence. It is truly easy enough to explain the mechanics of the positive feeling, attitude, that we call faith. But explanation of any subject does not necessarily mean that you can employ or use it so easily. Faith is something, once it has been explained to you, you and only you can make it work. Many have found the mystical rituals of their own religious ideals or practices have been helpful. These rituals have become indispensable ever since one learns, through biological knowledge of self, how inseparable are the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of human nature. To deny the power of prayer, or even to pray without deep feeling and conviction, dissipates the value of faith. And such petitions, as Dr. Carver said, don't even reach the ceiling. We have been asked often enough, why is it that belief has anything to do with the miraculous results that can be obtained through prayer, meditation, and other constructive means of arousing the catalytic force of human emotions? That's a big question, but a good question. The only reply or answer we come up with is this, that the creative power of human nature is controlled by the positive emotional forces of the superconscious. This simply will not function constructively when mental attitudes are negative. It will not function when doubt or prejudice or intolerance or bigotry or fear, any of these negative millstones of mankind, dominates the mind. You may be finding it hard to concentrate on the thoughts which are constructive, the thoughts which give you positive emotional powers. You may find it hard to hold your mind to constructive thoughts or prayer, to keep out other distracting and destructive thoughts and ideas. If that is so, perhaps you might be benefited by these 5 simple rules as written a while ago. 1. Pray when you are by yourself or meditate. 2. Pray in a quiet place or meditate. 3. Free yourself from destructive emotions. 4. Relax physically and emotionally. 5. Concentrate on a simple truth and do not wander from it. You will find it so much easier to set about concentrating on positive and constructive thoughts if you are in a place that is conducive to a receptive mood. Remember also that if your mind is preoccupied with, say, feelings of worry, fear, self-pity, hatred, and jealousy, there is no place for constructive thoughts. Negative thoughts are destructive ones. They tend to be like elephants. They are too big to allow even for the flea in the same space or same room. Don't let them be there. Let yourself go. There must be no tenseness in you. If you are relaxed physically, there is a great chance that you will relax mentally. And once relaxed, you are free to allow the powers of prayer or meditation to seep into your system and go to work. Choose a basic truth upon which to practice concentrating with care. Perhaps the words of Coleridge that were quoted before. He prayeth best who loveth best. Or from the Psalms, the Lord is my shepherd. Whatever you choose, do not let yourself wander from your chosen affirmation. Allow it to become deeply engraved on your mind. If other thoughts tend to intrude on your meditation, push them back and return to your own positive thoughts. You will soon begin to feel that you are part of the great divine plan. Calm, quiet, and peace will follow. You will find that prayer will become more natural every day. Or, as we said before, you can conduct a meditation. You will discover that you too have the power to concentrate and touch deep into the powers of the mind. You will find the way to use this greatest gift. The primary purpose of prayer is, like the meditation, to fill your mind with such constructive mental images that you will change your attitude from a discordant one to a harmonious one. Life will first change inwardly. Then, as the inward changes take place, you yourself will be able to change outward conditions. Prayer or meditation is the means of letting loose the hidden power of the golden or the greatest gift. Prayer is the essential agent in bringing to yourself the required insight to the divine plan. Prayer is the master power that will help you to develop the powers of the superconscious. Superconscious powers which were meant to be yours. Do not expect miracles overnight. You must practice how to pray or meditate. When you have acquired technique of praying or meditating, you must practice praying or meditating so that you may generate the power it has. Remember the rules of praying or meditating. Pray or meditate when you are by yourself. Pray or meditate in a quiet place. Free yourself from destructive emotions. Relax, physically and emotionally, and concentrate on a simple truth. One of the hardest tasks is waiting patiently, being content with one small step at a time on the road to a cherished goal. Patience is a part of life. Prayer or meditation will give you patience while it prepares to generate power. Setting your prayer or meditation power generator in motion. In order to use the power of your superconscious, you must learn to set this power in motion. That is what we are talking about. To do this, there are 5 easy rules. I know they have been mentioned before. These rules must be memorized and used continually. With these rules, you can concentrate on all the constructive aspects you seek in life. Without these rules, you will constantly flounder along winding and bumpy road that most often ends right back where you started from. 1. You must pray or meditate when you are by yourself. 2. You must find a place of quiet in which to pray or to meditate. 3. You must free yourself from all destructive emotions. 4. You must relax yourself both physically and emotionally. 5. You must concentrate on a simple truth and never wander from it. And so this brings us to the end of today's program. We will meet again by the next episode. Until then, keep smiling and be truly happy. Thank you.